Yeah, we kept coming back to it because we just liked it. It just made us laugh a lot. And then I think we all then pandemic, then we crowdfunded it on Twitch, and it was really fun. And Sevan came and saved us and helped us turn it into an animated thing because we were going to try and shoot it in our garages with blue screens, which would have been seriously misguided and still fun, stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got involved in it in 2012 when they started to crowdfund it, and it's been a long ride, and finally it's done. I'm used to working on TV shows where like you're done in a month and it airs, but like this has been going on for so long, like it finally gets to air, and I'm glad everybody gets to see it. And I'm sure a lot of people here probably donated to it too, right? Did you see your name in the credits?
So thank you very much.
Too many names at the end, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know, questions. What's up, guys? Yeah.
You worked on it.
Yeah, but I still have a question. For so long, is there any scenes from session to finish that you're like, oh yeah, like that's exactly how it was supposed to be?
Oh, you want us to compliment you? Is that what you're looking for? You're fishing for us to say Mike Green did a great job. Mike Green did a great job, everyone.
Mike did a great job, you guys.
That's Mike Green.
What do you think?
I mean, the naked Timmy, right?
Right.
That is what come to my mind.
I mean,
naked Timmy's
mine
dick.
too, because like the first time we talked about the movie in 2012, that was already in there, and it's exactly how we pictured it. You know,
Your
like,
dick?
well, not that.
Wait, what did you say?
Well, the whole me being naked and crazy thing was something that was in the original idea. Yeah.
Your
Including
dick.
my dick.
He's like,
My
that's
kid's
what it
here.
would look like if it was normal. Wow.
Yeah. Instead of awesome.
It took us a while to get the Cooter Mysteries like dialed in, but like that was one of those things where the Cooter Mysteries, once it like was clicking, I felt like, oh yeah, this is it. It's got that tempo.
Yeah.
And also, actually, one moment that I think is like one of my favorite moments in this is when there's the shootout, and it's like loud and crazy and bullets, and then it does that hard cut to the news, the still, and it goes like 300 dead and something about it. It's just every time I'm like, yeah, that's how that plays. That's like great.
My favorite part about that is like, who was there to take that picture? The news.
Yes, you. Yeah.
Is there a specific line from any of your guys' characters that you were excited to see people's reaction to, or like a moment you're excited to see?
One of the lines that always made me laugh. I don't think gets a laugh from the others, but it's when we're driving and Candace is like, "It feels like you're driving crazy," and some guy goes like, "Slow down, asshole!" I was like, "That's the fucking funniest shit."
That gets a laugh, yeah.
That's all right. That's my favorite.
Obviously, the doll licker scene.
Yeah,
It's a big reveal.
Yeah, it was funny because we didn't realize this till we saw it at Tribeca, that like he licks the doll like early in the movie, but then at the end of the movie is the first time the word doll lickers gets said.
Right.
And so that's like the moment that it kind of clicks for a lot of people, that like, oh, that's why we're called doll lickers.
Right.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, fuck you. Go fuck yourself. Yeah,
Right.
I think, wait, did you say under your breath, go fuck yourself outside the theater? Yeah. Yeah, no, this woman here in the glasses, and I wasn't sure if you did or if you were like mad at me.
Did I step on her toes?
Oh, yeah.
Now, 2 days ago, some dude pulled up next to me on the street and rolled his window down and was like, "Fuck you, doll licker!" But like the "fuck you" came first. So I was like, "Oh, yeah, what's up, dude?" What about you?
I had a question about the shootout scene there at the end.
Okay.
It seemed like there was a bit of Doom inspiration right there as well. It kind of went first person. I know you guys are gamers. Was that intentional? I'm assuming that was intentional.
That's a Sevan question.
Yeah, it's more of the animation side.
That was the hardest thing to do because there's a lot of action, so that's a lot of animation, which means money, you know, like, so when you cut to things like that, I feel like that's just a money saver. So it's maybe a little bit creative, but mostly saving money.
I remember a funny thing about that is there's like this one shot where it's Cooter's legs. And we were talking about it where I was like, I don't know what, my brain doesn't clock what it is. And then you added shoelaces.
Yeah.
Shoelaces.
Oh.
So it was like, oh yeah, that sells that it's his legs. And it just clicked. That's like one of the funny things with animation is sometimes it's just like, just the tiniest thing to make it like go from something that's abstract to something that like you can fully understand.
So does the whole laces comment answer your question about the first-person shooter thing? That clears that up? Yeah, good, Sam.
I thought it was so funny that you were pointing to these two people asking, and I was like, oh, the one in the Trevor shirt, and then I realized you guys are both wearing Trevor shirts.
The right Trevor local sex spot hoodies.
Hoodies, yeah.
Thank you.
Back left corner.
I'll also have the shirt on.
Oh wow.
Okay,
Yes,
yeah.
all right.
Only
I love
people
it.
with the local sex plot shirt can ask
Yeah.
questions.
So first of all, amazing job. And
Thank you.
weeks ago, you guys were talking about how this was supposed to be like a springboard type thing, and obviously, amazing tribute to Trevor, who's one of the all-time greats. My question was, were there any like even germs of an idea for other movies that you would have wanted to have made if this was the first of many?
I feel like we had a really good time playing D&D on Twitch.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I feel like there could have been like some sort of something that came out of that.
Yeah.
Like something with
Darren
Buckers and
shitting
Myers.
on you.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
whatever that song was. I don't know.
Peppermint Pissy? Is that his
Yeah,
character?
but-
Smooth, I think, was the song.
But also we wrote like this movie Fight Barn that we really liked a lot. Although I feel like we read Fight Barn and it wasn't ready.
Was it like
Oh. I mean, we only finished half of it. Like, we only got to half
Is
of
that
it.
like the redneck Mortal Kombat kind of
Yeah,
thing?
Yeah,
it
it
was,
was
like
like-
backyard wrestling meets Mortal Kombat. And then we had, and then we sold to Paramount like before we got a TV show, a script about the end of the world, like the apocalypse that comes, and the five of us had to like navigate the apocalypse. But then I remember Seth Rogen made This Is the
Yeah.
End, and I remember our manager was this like old Italian dude. He's like, they fucking stole it. They fucking stole that from you. We're like, they promised you, they did not.
They did not.
It's 2010. It's in the
Yeah.
news.
Like,
Like,
yeah.
2012 is right around the corner. Yeah.
So I don't. Yeah,
We did a reading of that too, and it was funny because we
Fight
did.
Barn?
No, the end of the world, and it was funny because we did so many drafts of it, and that was one where we were reading the script, and in this like live reading that we did of it, it was like, yeah, this is really funny, and then we got to the moment where you could like
feel the notes.
feel
Yes.
all of a sudden like, oh, this is where we started to change
And
it, and
yeah.
it just like
Yeah.
got really bad, but that was really fun.
What else?
Is there an even longer version of the Friends song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Oh,
Yeah, it
yeah.
actually played in the credits.
Does
That
it go
was
even more than that? Or
no, that was the
That's
full
it.
length.
Oh,
yeah.
oh god.
When you have like 13 minutes of like donors' names, you're like, what music can we play here? And you go, oh, we have the long version of the Friends song. Oh yeah.
And that was just like the first take too.
Yeah. Blue shirt. Yes.
Are there any like deleted scenes that didn't make the cut, or everything you got
The-
in it is what you wanted?
No, there's a scene at the very end that I loved. It's not in the movie, and it's like somebody comes up to me and they're like, Kyle, what do you have to say about like your and Timmy's sexual affair and in Mars? I'm like, we did not have a sexual affair. They're like, yeah, you did. I'm like, no, we didn't. They're like, it's on video, and they like show me the video. I'm like, you're nodding. Have you heard this? This didn't get put in this cut, right?
No.
And I'm like watching. I'm like, I guess this is footage of me and Timmy going. I have no memory of this. And then it's like minutes of me just watching
Reacting.
Timmy like ass rape me, and I'm like, oh, he's using his whole fist. Oh, how did I not feel that the next day? Oh,
take
be
his
careful.
watch off.
It
Which
goes
is funny
on
because
and on.
also like Timmy's character didn't drink at that point too. So Timmy's character at that point was completely sober
Right,
doing
totally
his
Yeah.
stuff.
And what's funny is I remember like when we were recording it, I was like sobbing, laughing. I remember when we were writing it, I was like crying, laughing. I was like, this is the fucking funniest
Yeah,
shit.
we recorded the lines for it and stuff, right?
And we recorded the
Yeah.
lines, and
Okay.
it was one of those
It's on
things
the
where
Blu-ray.
It's just
It's on the Blu-ray?
Oh, it's on the Blu-ray?
It's on the Blu-ray.
I don't know why it doesn't really work. Like
yeah?
we did a screening for a friends and family thing, and it was like also the movie was in really rough shape, so maybe people
Yeah.
were just like over the movie at the
weird
by
little
that
button.
point.
I mean,
But it didn't feel like it fit. So it was one of those things that I thought was going to be the funniest part of the movie, and then it ended up being like not. Oh, and I
it's
had
something that people just want to see like in a serious kind of hot way anyways, so it's maybe hard to make funny.
Yeah.
We did
And
do-
you just
We did a friends and family kind of screening of the movie, and then like felt like some jokes not just like land and that kind of thing, and then like did a long sit down where we sat through the whole movie and just got really ruthless and like cut a bunch of stuff out. And there used to be there was another scene where you met Candace before he goes to the bar, and it just was like not funny, and then like kind of like really kind of shaded the character in a weird way, and we were just like, oh, the note at the door is such a funnier introduction to that character. Like that has to be it. And yeah.
The woman with the glasses, yes.
So, in your film, I think a lot of us have had that moment of like, holy shit, I need to go to Mars. And I was wondering what that moment was like for you guys.
You're speaking like metaphorically, like Mars could be college or Mars could be, okay, spring break or something. Okay, yes. We've all decided to go to Mars, right?
We're going.
We all knew that. Wait, what's your question?
Moment in your life when you realized, I need to change something right now.
Oh, great question. Okay. Well, for me, not to get all real, but for me, it was like getting sober. It was like, I got to go to Mars. What about you?
Well, you know, right now I have a wife and a kid, and you know,
You're still thinking about.
I'm still thinking about Mars. You know, every day. No.
Mine was actually moving from LA back to my home in South Dakota to raise my kid. And South Dakota is basically like Mars.
Mine was when I decided to leave the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Did you really?
Yeah.
So the whole world was Mars.
Yeah. It was going away from Mars. Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, right here.
I was wondering what about this project made you guys want to stick it out for so long in order to get it made? Like, what made you so passionate about this particular project?
I like that. I mean, I like that question, but like, it's funny because there is this way to think about it that it was like, oh, we like chose this to be the movie that we made, but no, like it got made because it got made. It is animated because it ended up getting animated. It just kind of like survived. Like the project itself was the thing that like just didn't get like thrown away. And it was, you know, you end up in these periods where you work on something, and especially, you know, in this business, things, you know, don't work out all the time, and you're kind of like, well, what next? And it just kept on being this thing where we were like, well, what about that? And we just kept picking it back up.
And the news kept making it relevant too. Like
Yeah.
people kept popping up talking about Mars and white supremacy. It's kind of perfect.
Dumb billionaires?
Yeah, dumb billions.
Back row.
Yeah, the doll licking is just like too specific. Is that something that came
Oh, we all used
Next
to do
question.
that.
Next
Yeah.
question. Next question. Come on here. Come on here. Next question.
We all met at the doll
Moving
store.
on. Moving the fuck on. Yeah.
You guys started funding during like the pandemic when the state of theaters was up in the air. Initially, when you guys did it, did you ever think it would be in a movie theater surrounded by people watching it?
No.
No.
This is wild.
Awesome.
Used to
is-
making cartoons and just it existing online. So.
Right.
Thank you so much to everyone in this room for
Yeah,
coming.
Yeah,
yeah.
sincerely.
This is live.
How much time do we have left, guys? I know we have to go to the other room. No.
I don't think you're in charge.
Good answer.
Good.
I like that attitude. All right. What? How much? 10 minutes? Let's go. Let's go. Yes, sir.
For the main characters, how much of that was giving each of your character just developing what they want to do versus what the story needed and catering your performance to that?
I think we really started with just kind of riffing on ourselves. I'm a very vanilla, forgettable person. Kyle felt very like, yeah, he could soak up everybody else's shit. Sam is like a total fucking idiot. You know, Timmy is you know, backwards as fuck. Trevor, kind of a misanthrope, but you know, brilliant. And I think that's all.
And Darren's a hot chick. Darren's a hot chick.
And everybody wants to
Yeah.
fuck Darren. So.
And I finally got to.
And, no, I think we started, you know, these are tropes that we all feel comfortable kind of doing.
Yes.
And so that it felt like very quickly we kind of like knew that these were the pieces that were going to be like moving around on the board, and then the story sort of came later. Maybe that's very obvious when you watch the movie. But, yeah.
Yeah. I think we try, and it's funny because we always do have this moment where we're like brainstorming. We find these characters for ourselves, and it at points like, you know, there's some feel more baked than others, and you give it thought. You give those characters that feel a little unbaked thought. And like I remember there being points where, we were like, is this Candace character like fun for Darren to do? And now I fucking love the Candace character.
Yeah,
I think the Candace character, like, we put so much work into it that she ended up in this like perfect kind of wild and crazy place. But also, like, I love that she has this arc where, like, in that last scene at the FBI, she's one of the most sane characters in the whole movie.
Sure.
Doesn't it seem like Sam has a legit crush on Candace?
I have a legit crush on Darren. That's what's going on.
All right.
Duh. Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Zach and Timmy, what do you have planned for your sleepover today?
Oh.
Ooh, wait, how do you know
Oh,
that he's
how'd you
sleeping
know
in my
that?
house?
How do you know that?
I've been watching you guys on Twitch for like 6 years.
Did we
Are you
talk
talking
about that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we mentioned it. I don't know.
Oh, we did. I do remember because I made a joke. Big bed. We're all going to
Oh,
be in the
that's
same
right.
big bed together. Okay, right on.
How do you know that I'm not going over there too? Okay.
What are your plans for the sleepover?
Yeah.
He's gonna crash it.
Yeah.
Honestly, it would be fun if we all slept in the same room and watched a movie and ate popcorn.
Yeah, talk about boys. We're kind of talking about boys right now. We keep talking about Darren.
Well, Darren's a man. I'll tell you that.
That's right. That's right.
I don't know that we have no plans. We have no plans.
I mean, I'll probably fall asleep.
Yep. Plaid shirt.
First off, shout out End of the World. I was at that script reading. It was so much fun.
Oh, really?
I'm so glad I got
You could feel when it fell off a cliff, though, right? You could feel when Dan Levine gave us it. No, I'm just-
It was funny the whole time.
oh, good. All right. All right. Good job, Dan.
Good job,
No,
Zach.
come on.
Good job, Zach.
Did you raise your?
Yeah. Well, when you transition from blue screen, the idea of like having this be all blue screens to animation, were there any elements of the movie that you thought you had like crazy ideas to amp up? Like, did your mind go anywhere to
Okay.
animation?
So he's asking if there was did anything change creatively in our minds when we decided not to do it blue screen in our garages but do it animated. For me, it was like, oh, now we can do everything that was in the original script. Now we don't have to compromise anything. Even if you do it blue screen and you embrace the lo-fi, DIY quality of it, and you go really ambitious and you try and do a big shootout in the desert, you're going to be limited. You might not be able to even make it be coherent, But once we do animation, the sky's the limit. And so it was really just kind of a relax. I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but we kind of got to just like no limits here.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, except for crowds. Crowds are tough to do in animation.
Crowds are tough to do. Copy paste.
But they gotta look different.
Oh yeah, shit. All right.
Copy paste hat. Copy hat paste.
Yeah. What else? Back row.
At what point in the process did you guys decide to make Bashful wear the sexy
The sexy fawn costume.
Yeah.
I would say 100% of the Easter eggs are put in there by the animators.
That was probably Mike.
Actually, I think it was Jackie.
Jackie decided that, one of our animators.
Sorry to say that, yeah, we weren't like, hey guys, this needs to be a bunch of Whitest Kids references.
Did we reference ourselves
But it
this
was-
time?
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to hire a bunch of animators that were fans, so
that's awesome.
they were putting him in without me knowing it, because I just like was approving shots, and I'm like, oh, I guess that's an Easter egg.
Because Sevan, you don't care for the show.
No, I never watched it.
He's
Not your thing. You said many times.
thing.
Yeah, not your thing.
He's just barely sitting by us right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
He would say, not my thing. I like comedy.
All right.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. Yep.
Alright, so my wife has forbidden me to ask Tammy about hot dogs.
Oh,
So, what
good job. I like your wife.
serious.
Probably won't like you. Ask your question.
I'll field this one.
So, what's next? It's a shitty question, but whatever.
You're really asking about hot dogs, aren't you? Is that what you're asking?
Baby.
Okay.
Yeah, what's your question about hot dogs?
Yeah, what is the
For
hot
Zach?
dog question? Was there a hot dog
We
question?
gotta hear it.
Hot dogs?
Wait, I got a question for Zach about hot dogs.
I think I have the same question.
Okay.
Zach, was the hot dog thing in Weapons a Whitest Kids reference?
Yeah. I get asked that every
I
day.
have a guess.
What's your guess?
I guess no.
Why do you guess no?
Because I don't think you're sitting around going, how do I get a Whitest Kids reference in this?
But, people have asked me because 7, so yeah. It wasn't?
I'm not going to answer that.
Oh, shit.
What else? Oh.
Yeah.
Way out of line.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course he
As would Wimmy.
Yeah, duh.
Is Cooter a
First
twink?
twink? No.
No,
Cooter's
he's too tall to be a
too
twink.
tall.
Well, I don't know twink rules, but
Yeah.
it seems like
There's got to. He's probably a giraffe. I think is
I
probably
feel
what they
like
would call him.
he has like an inner twink, right? Like I feel like he's got the soul of a twink, right? Is that a thing?
I don't
Well, the
think
twinks
so.
were 7 dwarfs, right? So he's
Right.
Snow White.
Oh, he's Snow White.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't think he's a twink. I don't think he's a twink.
He's just.
Uh,
He's just a gay man trying to make it in modern day
my
prison.
life's not so bad
Modern
right
day
now.
prison.
My best friend's blowing me? That's pretty good.
Are we supposed to go? No.
I don't know. Yeah.
Let's take a couple
I'm
minutes.
gonna end on a dumb comment.
Good.
For first build cast member Timmy Williams, have you noticed that on the digital platforms or the platforms for watching Whitest Kids digitally, you seem to be first build in the cast?
Oh, that's a mistake.
All right, I'm gonna.
I should always be like, and also probably Timmy Williams, we think.
I'm gonna take care of that right now. Send an email. Tersely worded email.
You think that piece of shit is number one on the call sheet?
Yeah.
All right. Yes.
Was for the character design of the feminist dude, is that based on Justin Long or Trent from Daria?
Which feminist dude?
Oh,
I don't know his name.
Todd.
Todd, yeah.
Oh, no, we were just trying to do some kind of caricature of Trevor.
Wait, you're referring to Trevor as the feminist dude?
No,
He
the
says
guy
he's a
on the
feminist
ship.
later on.
Wait, what?
The guy on the ship.
Todd.
Todd.
He introduces.
Trevor's main
He says.
character?
He says that
He
he's
says
a
he doesn't
feminist.
appreciate.
Oh, it's just funny when I
it
think of
doesn't-
that character. It's like feminist is not the word that comes to my mind. That's funny. Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah, what is that based on? That character?
Yeah, I think it's just it was just like Cooter really looks like Trevor, but we tried to make Todd sort of look like him without it looking like him. But also he's supposed to be like kind of gothy and like anti-society, so that kind of informed it more. But we weren't really going for.
What Justin Long character are you
He
thinking?
just looks like Justin Long.
Just
I don't know.
coincidence then.
Very cool. Yeah, did you have one? Because you had one earlier. Okay, go ahead.
Zach, would you ever direct a Whitest Kids movie in the future?
Honestly, like, no, because without Trevor, I just don't. I couldn't do it. You know, this was hard to finish without him. You know, it's like going in and listening to your best friend's voice and trying to make sure you're doing what he would, hopefully want with the thing. It was really, really, really hard. And I'm glad we did it. It was really a wonderful, like, cathartic thing to get this thing finished and out. And it's so like bittersweet to be here now. But I mean, the idea of starting a new thing and calling it Whitest Kids without him just feels like perverse. So, I would happily work with these guys again, but I don't think it would be fair to be like a Whitest Kids thing.
But Zach, you could have me play all the Trevor parts. Upgrade, right? Can you imagine?
Lightning just strikes you.
We got, I think, 2 more minutes. If anybody else.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sevan's like, 2 more minutes. Let's stop talking about that.
On Twitch, you said that in college you were into punk a lot.
Who said that?
Is that? Am I
Well,
right?
I was, yes.
Yeah, like the Locusts and all that.
Yeah.
That's pretty like deep underground. You still listen to music like that kind of?
Yeah.
That's
I was
what
listening
I'm
to
talking
Tune Mold this morning. You know Tune Mold?
And what's the last concert everybody went to?
Oh. I went to the Bugs Bunny concert at the Bowl.
Dude, he's finally playing live shows?
I was in Prague and I saw the OCs in Prague this year. That was fun.
We went to Weird Al. Was that the last thing I saw? All right, cool. My manager's here.
I don't even fucking know. I don't even remember.
Must have been a great show, dude.
Yeah, they don't let me in anymore.
Ween 2003.
No,
Everyone went to Ween was great.
I saw OCs in